Good evening, folks, and welcome to this special MTA Board meeting analysis. And this is your host, Jason Anthony Pinheiro from his studios at Borough Hill, Brooklyn. And and first things first, we are going to talk about what occurred this morning doing, in other words, this afternoon, during the special MTA meeting regarding the L train shutdown. And we had speakers like News Force on Chris Glorioso that spoke right before me, but he did it as a member of the public. That is very interesting. Let's, for those who didn't tune in this morning, in other words, this afternoon, we are going to have some extracts of that meeting.
This is a special board meeting which will be provided to board members as required by Section 4 of the MTA bylaws. Limited to those matters stated in the notice. Today we're here to discuss the L train project. As noticed, there is no school board action being taken. Now I'd like to ask Mr. Marino to please members of the public who registered and wish to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to remind all of the speakers that when I call your name, please go to the podium.
Thank you very much. because of the, what we read in the New York today. So we're here to listen.
All right, there you guys have Mahan President Gail Brewer. But as an independent transit advocate myself, I was disappointed of not seeing Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, who often appears in other events, but not in important events that involves mass transit in his borough. Because we could see politicians like Adriano Espaillat, Idanis Rodriguez, who happened to be there today, although that he couldn't speak because he arrived a little bit late. And obviously, Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer. Now, of course, her territory covers L train stations between 1st and 8th Avenues along 14th Street. And she has to represent those constituents in the East Village, Alphabet City, Stuyvesant Town, Union Square area, we could say Greenwich Village, and the West Village.
Thank you, Madam Borough President. The next speaker is Sean. Thank you. The next speaker
the person that spoke after Gary Brewer, he is one example that attending the MTA meetings is very important. That's why uh, him and I were exchanging ideas doing the Q&A, and him and I noticed that our beloved Freddie Farrell was not giving the correct answers. But let's hear what Lisa Danglin, the executive director of the PCAC, had to say regarding this.
Very much. The next speaker is Lisa Daniel.
I admire personally Lisa Danglin because she is basically continuing the work of former executive director of PCAC, Bill Henderson. And as we know, the L train shutdown planning phase started back in 2016 when Ronnie Hakem was New York City Transit's president, and Dr. H was the head of MTACC. So Now let's hear this.
Thank you. Next speaker is
Here's the thing. He is a reporter of News 4 New York, Andrew Schiff's colleague. He is the first reporter to do this. Let's listen what Freddie answered to him.
Questions answered is just to come up and address you, please.
Oopsie! He said member of the public. But he is not a member of the public. He is a news reporter from News 4 New York, WNBC in New York. And who happens to be in the same channel as Andrew Schiff. Andrew, I know Andrew Schiff. And Andrew Schiff won't do what Chris Glorioso did. This right here is the epic fail of the month. A news reporter standing where people like myself, among others, do every month, twice or multiple times in the same month to make our case. Let's keep listening in.
Well, so am I. I'm simply saying.
I think it's helpful for riders to know.
One question should be asked. Does Chris Glorioso take mass transit? Hmm, interesting. Because as I know of, Jose Martinez often takes the M11 bus to and from Chelsea Market, where New York 1 is. Um, I saw once Andrew Seth himself taking the subway to Queens. Um, Greg Mocker, he often takes the train, especially the 7. Who else I have seen? Of course, Vince Barone. That, by the way, went to the meeting in his bike and uses the subway and uses the Staten Island ferry to and from Staten Island. And out of the MTA board members themselves, we have seen Freddie Ferrer. We have seen, obviously, we always see Andrew Albert because Andrew Albert is the Transportation Committee chair of Manhattan's Community Board 7 in the Upper West Side. Let me see. Obviously, Andy Byford. Let me see. Randy Glocksman. Owen Getz. Almost every single MTA board member I have seen either entering or exiting Bowling Green Station.
Summarize your move.
It's a pretty dramatic change from asking the system to be close to the entire time. It's also when advice.
Now, here comes my argument.
This project has been discussed since our economic hold.
Okay, here's what we know regarding the Canarsie Tunnel. It was built in 1924. It has two tubes that has one track on each tube in cast iron with concrete liner. That carries 40 trains per hour in peak with 225 riders each weekday. They don't mention it on weekends, but the impact of Superstorm Sandy was that it was flooded with 7 million gallons of salt water.
Itself, between the plants. Is
Okay, let's see what's new and what's not going to change. What is going to be new? Reduce the amount of demolition required from branch walls, stabilize or leave alone, cables placed on racks along the tunnel walls instead within the branch walls. This part right here, um, let's say if the rack breaks and the cable falls, what will happen? What happens if the sensor fails? But what is not going to change? Resiliency, the ADAs at 6th Avenue, First Avenue, and Bedford Avenue, substations, and new tunnel lining.
tunnel themselves in the computer. So when they
So here's the recommendations. In terms of cables, implement a new power and control system design. Implement racking system for design for cables. Decouple cable system housing from branch walls. Jacket cables with low smoke, zero halogen, fireproof material. Abandon all old cables on branch wall. Install walkway where branch wall was removed. Well, we see a walkway when we are on the 7th train between Times Square, 42nd Street, and 34th Street Hudson Yards. See, and this is the branch wall that they are mentioning. They're saying that this technique, in other words, the fiber reinforced polymer or FRP, was used on the 7 train extension to Hudson Yards, on the Phase 1 of 2nd Avenue subway, and the Culver Viaduct. And here are the benefits.
Lo último desde el sector Fresh Middle, así que te escuchamos, Alfredo.
New system design achieves all functional outcomes. Upgrade to pump system and track occurs in tandem with cable and bridge wall work. Racking system allows greater access to cables for expansion of future upgrades. Smart sensor system allows monitoring in continuous rather than periodic basis. And enhanced safety and functionality and flood resiliency. But what if we had, God forbid, a storm worse than Superstorm Sandy? And here are the next steps. WSP recommends moving forward with the new and improved approach of rehabilitating the tunnel that meets the original project goals while avoiding complete shutdown. That's the biggest question of all. And reducing customer impact. The MTA will continue to provide regular updates and ongoing dialogue with the board and public.
Tres personas fueron heridas y en el lugar del salvaje ataque en Chip Bay encuentra Roberto Núñez, quien está en vivo. Y es que es la última que se sabe de esta información.
Daniel, lamentablemente nos acaban de informar que una de las víctimas de 34 años acaba de fallecer. Otras dos personas, como ustedes decían, con una condición grave. Hay quienes dicen que vieron a este hombre como fuera de sí, como enloquecido. Y también hay quienes se arriesgan a pensar que este hombre podría tener algo que ver con las personas que atacó. sus clientes en este restaurante en los que está por esta tranquila, conocida y visitada marina.
Y se la mano porque creemos que el hombre iba a entrar acá.
Sale hablando de su trabajo en este buffet de comida china, donde un hombre, según la policía, con un martillo en mano y comenzó a atacar personas.
La gente estaba corriendo, estaba gritando, un hombre estaba parado ahí, diciendo que le dieron en la cabeza a otra persona.
La policía en su momento se extrañó con la actriz.
Me parece que él trabajaba ahí. Y era gente que trabajaba en el restaurante.
La policía confirmó que los heridos de 60, 50 y 34 años laboraban para el establecimiento. Todos fueron a parar.
Okay, Ronnie Hinckham mentioned, okay, those who don't know history, this person right here, who we know as Ronnie Hinckham, who is the managing director, in other words, the COO of the MTA, back then, let's say almost 3 years ago, she was holding the position that Andy Byford holds now. But now we have Pat Foy, who came from the port unauthorized after approving a whopping $26 billion 10-year capital plan that includes the dumbest transportation project ever. But we won't enter into details in this video. But let's chime in to some of the remarks of board members.
Certainly don't anticipate that.
Well, here is the thing that our beloved Freddie doesn't know. We often see unauthorized people in the tracks.
Absolutely.
Good point by Dr. Susan Metzger. But when she mentioned 40 years, she is forgetting a little bit that the R32 are still in service and they are 54 years old. So she missed on that one. But other than that, good points by Susan Metzger.
Last thing is, today,
See, there's the answer. Was actually 2015. My apologies. And obviously, Polly Trottenberg, who was the only, let's say, only one of two female board members present. And as you guys know, Polly Trottenberg was appointed by Warren Wilhelm Jr. And she happens to be New York City's DOT director. So let's take a listen.
So I'd be delighted if there is a way to do this project.
Okay, you guys see those three gentlemen? On the one on the left is from Jello. And as you guys know, Jello has been in the hot seat for pretty much since I really lost count, but Jello is one of those bitters that always gets an opinion. Let's take a listen.
Exposure. So.
I want to hear what one of the most
issue some
but of course they forgot board member Veronica Vanderpool.
issue. We've also anticipated that. I can tell you that afternoon of the announcement by by Governor Cuomo.
Now, let's hear what First Degree Murder said. And by the way, folks, he sounded very, but very extremely pissed.
To correct some statements that are utterly inaccurate. Not by any speaker. It is not correct, as somebody said, that the managing director of the state majority at the time all of this happened. She did not arrive until the end of 2015. It played no role by the time she arrived. This decision had already been formally made. So we were already on the path. And it's inaccurate. Number two, it is inaccurate for CBS and for other radio stations to carry the comment that this plan was considered previously. It was not. At no point since Hurricane Sandy struck did we receive from any source in any manner, in any way, or in any shape, any suggestion similar to what is being advanced now. Indeed, Commissioner Abbott, former Commissioner Cappellini, and I specifically asked whether we were being offered any opportunities other than the two we had, namely the shutdown or the phase program over a period of years of past generations. We were not given any contrary statement is a lousy quote, fake news. Number three. So, I believe I added that Seneca was a component part of the tunnel underneath Manhattan, which did a great job of cleaning up all the water pouring in by the Montague tunnel and the like. And it was a subject of cleaning at the time, and there was not a single problem. I didn't work on one of them, however, it was initiated. And the next one. It is true. Yes. Am I correct that if it's 10 years, last 20 years, 30 years, or 50 years, innovation does tend to happen? While this monolith called the MTA takes a long time to get any damn thing done, in the period of time that passes, 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, innovation may actually make much of this redundant, unnecessary, or partially at least ameliorated. That includes issues like cables, infrared comes in. Lastly, I'd like to ask two questions. When it comes to asbestos, it is a common practice, has occurred for umpteen years, that there are two alternatives, remove it or encapsulate it. And where encapsulation is required, frequently injection either of concrete or of other substance is done by a pumping method that's into an active fitted acid. Number two, reducing
That was one of the recommendations, Professor. I spoke to several of the vendors who provided funding to see that identified. We facilitated an update for working group meetings. Large majority of can be sprayed on the experience provides being question. However, the consensus of the people were
Let's see what else we could cover. Let's see what Andy Byford had to say.
thing I'm going to say on this subject ultimately is look, if you're for inconveniencing 275,000 people, say so. If you're not, then that's okay too. President Biden. Sure, thank you. So I would like my policy on that. So I'm absolutely not in favor of unnecessarily impacting 225,000 people a day, which is why I absolutely from the start I said that this is powerful. Have immediately engaged with this plan. We immediately cooperated with the town visit, with the subsequent work that was undertaken, and now it's forced on us to look at the implications of this department. In terms of giving you confidence that we can put together an alternative plan that does tackle the very big or potentially big customer impacts that you described. Let me say this by way of reassurance. This is the same management team that certainly predated me. This is the same management team that put this system back together in record time after 9/11. It's the same management team that when Hurricane Sandy hit has successfully renovated the multi-tunnel waterfall closure, the Geronimo Tunnel, the Cranberry Tunnel, the 53rd Street Tunnel, the Clark Street Tunnel, and the Green Point Tunnel. That is that same management team who have successfully delivered the recovery works, and others for that matter. There are a lot of things said about the management team, about management, and a lot of things said about the MTA. I want to say, from when I'm proud to work for the MTA, I'm proud of my colleagues, I'm proud of people sitting behind me who are against the odds delivered that post-9/11 recovery, and who are against the odds delivered that Sandy recovery. So it's good news that we've got an alternative plan. I'm pleased to see that my recommendations so to your question, Commissioner, that's front and centre for me. And again, back to my theme about the capability of this management team. We're highly professional. We have very good people who act there. We will look at the implications. Very professional.
So, bottom line is the following. Will this new plan work? We have some interesting comments on my Twitter feed. We have this one from Sarah Ritz. That posted, he said that he likes a challenge and he welcomes the challenge. That's regarding the L train shutdown. And then my contributor Alex Rivera said, I can't believe that there was even a sudden change after all the efforts and planning of the shutdown. And of course, he also replied that Governor Cuomo wants full control. And of course, at the same time that the MTA was in the special meeting, the governor mentioned this as part of the 100 days of his justice agenda. Overhaul the MTA and pass congestion pricing to secure a reliable funding source. Fund New York City Transit, Long Island Railroad, Metro North, and bridges and tunnels. And he said the first issue was management. We have a 1916 management, 17 board members, 6 appointed by the state, 4 appointed by the city, but 7 of those appointed by county executives. But my question is the county executive putting their fair share? No, they're not. And then Governor Cuomo sold figures between the city and the state, showing figures from 1982 to 2014, and then capital programs from 1982 to 2019. But who controls the MTA? That's the good question. That's the important question. So is 11:48 in the evening, and as a reminder, next Tuesday, January 22nd, we will be once again at 2 Broadway attending the committee meetings, starting with Metro North, Long Island Railroad Transit, Finance, and CPOC. And on Thursday, January 24th, will be the full board meeting where the fare and toll increases will be discussed. So, uh, I want to thank everybody that joined us on this special MTA board analysis. And we will speak again next week.